My name is Khafsa Othman Muhammad. So when I arrived in Zanzibar in 2018, I remember how thick the air felt sticking to my skin. And the faint exhaust of the Vespers passing by, I had one suitcase with me and a heart filled with confusing mix of hope and total paralyzing panic. The theme of our event today is Beyond the Horizon. And that day, in 2018, my horizon felt it was right here. It was a wall. I had come to this beautiful island with a job, but no connection, not even a clear path. Just a young woman with big dreams. But it was right there, in that cloud of uncertainty and clove-scented air, I was forced to learn a lesson. A lesson that was not even taught in a university class. A lesson that I had to learn in the streets of Dar es Salaam and Stone Town. In the interviews that I messed up, and the small wins that I had to celebrate all alone. It was the lesson of resilience. Today, I want to share about my journey. From that young woman with no experience to the person who is standing before you. From an intern with no network, as we speak, a branch manager, an MBA graduate, a mentor, and a Mandela Washington Fellow 2025. But this speech is not about a CV, not at all, okay? It's about how I turned that wall before me into my horizon. And it did not happen by doing one big action. No, my friend, not at all. It was through the daily, quiet, and connected practice of three things: holding a vision, embracing adaptability, and building a community. So let's start with vision. When we were young, we were told we should have vision of our lives. It sounded so big and scary, like a 50-year plan written in a stone. But my vision in 2018, it wasn't like that. My vision was simple and desperate. So I told myself, I will not fail. I will not be the same person I am today 1 year from now. It was a wish to grow beyond my current situation. And that was actually my first job. So soon I realized to move from that desk, to actually have a career and not just a job, I needed new tools. So I set my eyes on an MBA. 2023 was the year that the first test of resilience came in. It's easy to say that I want to get an MBA, but it's hard. Doing it while you have to work 40 to 50 hours per week. It's even much harder when you don't have a financial backup. So soon I realized to move from that desk, yeah, what I'm supposed to do. So what I did after that, I remember when I come back from work, and then I'm tired from dealing with the customers the whole day. And then I'm like, okay, what should I do? So to keep myself company, around 10 p.m., I'll blend my juice, yeah? So as I study, and then I sip my juice with me. On the other hand, my friends were going out, using the same night to enjoy what Stone Town had to offer. I recall a Saturday, which I had 3 pending assignments, and an upcoming meeting at work, which I was so far behind my targets. So I started questioning myself, should I take a break? Should I quit altogether? Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know what I did? Do you want to know what I did? I went out for a walk and think about why I had chosen this path. In the end, I chose to keep on going. Yeah? Because I need that for the future that is ahead of me. Mind you, I had to borrow my mom money to pay for my school fees. So I was not ready to let that slide easily. So, with the same drive, later in 2024, I had applied for Uongozi Women Leadership Program. I looked at the women, the leaders, the change makers. I saw my horizon. I saw what was possible. And later, I had applied for Mandela Washington Fellowship. So the struggle was not even about getting a degree. It was a proof to myself that I could actually do hard things. It was about shaping my vision. As you can see, each success was not given to me. It was earned from those late hours. It was earned for me pushing myself outside my comfort zone until I couldn't see anymore. My vision wasn't just a dream. It was a choice I had made every single day. But a vision is useless if you crash into the rocks of reality. And this brings me to my second lesson, adaptability. Resilience isn't about being tough like a stone, no. It's about being flexible like a palm tree in the Kaskazi winds. It bends, it sways, but it doesn't break. And Zanzibar, Zanzibar teaches you how to be flexible. I come from the mainland, and I was used to a certain pace, a certain way of doing business, and a certain directness in communication. So when I walked to my new workplace in Zanzibar, I felt like I was in a different planet. So I had to learn a new language. And it doesn't mean Kiswahili, not at all. It meant the language of business here, the language of respect, the quiet power of pole pole, which isn't about being slow. It's about being calm and thoughtful. It's the importance of greetings, asking about journey, family, day, before you even mention about a report that was due an hour ago. I want to tell you about a mistake that I made. A big one. A very big one. So when I arrived here in Zanzibar, I was always cheerful and naturally friendly, greeting everyone with a lively, "Hi, how are you?" You know? But there is a saying that goes by, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. In the middle of all this, in a random Monday, one of my colleagues came to me and she told me, "Madam, here in Zanzibar, we don't greet customers with, 'Hi, how are you?' No. First of all, you have to address customers respectfully. Second, you have to tell them, 'Assalamu alaikum. Are we clear?'" And I told her, "Yes, ma'am. I heard you." I was so shocked because to me, I believe that being friendly will lead to get a lot of customers. So I had to learn to adapt and adjust to the Zanzibari ways. And that, my friend, that to me was my aha moment. I had focused so much into my vision, my timeline, and I failed to see the person. So in the end, I had to talk less and listen more. I started paying attention, and I learned that in Zanzibar, trust and efficiency are built in the space between the words, in the shared salam, in the question about the family. So adaptability wasn't about surviving anymore. It became my path to leadership. It helped me connect with customers and colleagues, and not as a mainlander who is there to tell them what to do, no, but as a person who respected where I was. And that, my friend, that became my biggest strength. So this leads me to my final and most important lesson. Adaptability isn't a one-person game. You can have all the vision in the world. You can be the most flexible person on the island. But if you're alone, my friend, you will burn out. Okay? Because the horizon will feel just a line far away. When I arrived here in Zanzibar, that young woman with big dreams and no connection, I had to eat most of the meals alone. I had to celebrate my small wins alone. I had to face my failures all alone. So deep down I was like, if I want to build a life here in Zanzibar, let alone a career, I cannot proceed like this. So I learned that community is not something you can just find, like a hidden beach. It's something you have to build brick by brick, conversation by conversation. And you have to be open to people and be ready to ask for help, even though most driven and resilient people find it so hard to do so. Many people struggle to show kindness to others. But for me, my friend, through kindness, that's how I built my community here in Zanzibar. In 2019, as a bank officer, I met Mr. Hassan Muhammad. Mr. Hassan, who also works in the banking industry. He's always in a hurry when he comes in, so I'll quickly serve him so as he can proceed with his schedule. So he became regular to my desk. In my desire to grow, one day I asked him, "Sorry, Mr. Hassan, can I ask you something?" And he looked at me. "Yes, Khafsa, proceed." "Mr. Hassan, is there any opening position at your bank at the moment?" And he told me, "By the way, we do have," my friend, I didn't even waste time. Quickly, I drafted my CV and cover letter, and I gave them to him. Quickly. you know? So then he took that. After 2 weeks, I got a call for an interview, and then other application process took place, and I got the job. So through that experience with Mr. Hassan, it reminded me the value of treating people well. That moment with Mr. Hassan, it has replayed itself so many times in my life. That one person became two, two became a network, and then a family. It was through my network that they're the ones who preferred my MBA application at night. They're the ones who taught me the culture cues that I was missing. And they're the ones who really celebrated me getting the Wongozi Men Leadership Program and the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I try to become that person to someone. When I mentor the recent graduates, I see the same look of hope and panic into their eyes. So I don't just offer them advice, no. I offer them a foundation. I always tell them, you are not alone, because your resilience is our resilience. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, my story is not even that unique, is it? It's not. It reflects many journeys of young men and women in this room, on the island and across the nation. To the youth that is listening me today, may my story remind you that your light matters. To the elders and leaders, keep on being that community to us. Keep on being the foundation that shapes our courage and future, because beyond the horizon is not the place that we reach. It is the place we create all together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hafsa, for that.